Oh yeah. Also, sorry, 2. Like that's like the longest or
Yeah,
whatever.
you just let Dapper go, bro. He'll take care. He's an artiste.
All right, let's do
He's
it.
an artiste.
You're in good hands.
Yeah.
The usual.
The huge.
The huge.
The
that you
huge.
haven't seen in months. The used.
That was like 4 years ago when I last catch you.
Shit. Now everybody sing that shit. Now everybody sing that shit. Now everybody sing that shit.
So, with the shoes that I brought in, it got me thinking, right? So now that Kobe has passed and everything, we're starting to finally see Nike release his shoes, and Mamba Week happened,
Right.
and they released like 2 pairs of them,
Right.
and now we've seen the Undefeated pack get dropped, and now we're gonna be seeing the PJ Tuckers and the DeMar DeRozan's dropping.
Yeah.
Now, here's my question to you, right? A lot of people are really angry on both the reseller side and the collectors and the Kobe fans.
When aren't they, right?
Yeah, but that's the thing. Everybody's always mad when it comes to sneakers and complaining. Sad but true. But is it fair? I've seen a lot of people blaming Nike
Okay.
for not being able to get their hands on these shoes. Is it fair to blame Nike? Is it fair? Who's to blame really at not being able to get it? Because here's where I stand with it, right? Kobe, it was a major star and had a big impact on a lot of people. We see it all now that he's passed. And I don't think you can make enough pairs to satisfy anyone.
Right.
Right. Because for one, the purists, if they made 1 million shoes and they stayed on the shelves, people would complain that's disrespectful to Kobe and his
Right.
legacy, right? And Nike doesn't want to leave his pairs on the shoes. They want him to sell out instantly.
Right.
You know, and he's got 1 million fans, but the sad reality of it, these shoes will resell. So people are going for them.
Right.
And I don't know. I don't think it's fair to blame Nike for any of this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What do you think?
Man, okay, so personally, I don't think there's anybody in particular that we can point fingers at
Right.
in this whole situation, right? Nike could have made 1 million pairs, and it's possible they could have sold out. We don't know that, right? Because we don't know how big that fan base is. You look at Jordan 11s, they get mass produced,
Yeah.
a million pairs,
Right.
and they're sold out.
Right.
So there's no telling if that would have happened. But what's crazy about it is that even if they would have made that many pairs, the resellers would have backed off, right? And then that drops the hype.
Right.
And then now everybody else doesn't want it. And let's be honest, a lot of people want this shoe because they can't have it.
Right.
So at the end of the day, who's to blame? There's not really one person in particular, one company, one group of people.
Right.
Me personally, I would
just
say
don't think there's a I don't think there's a level where anybody is satisfied.
no,
with it,
100%. I think one thing that I could say that Nike should have done more pairs, but how much is more pairs?
Right.
What is the right number for
Right,
me to
right.
say that was perfect?
Sure.
Like
I mean,
you said, there's
Kobe
not.
was a megastar, and the impact he had on basketball and shoe heads,
Right.
was big. But before he passed, his shoes weren't really doing that great. There were
No,
some
they
pairs that were
weren't.
great.
They were still reselling and stuff like that, but not like now.
Right. And I understand the fans' perspectives, people
Right.
that he made an impact on. Like they want
Right.
the shoes, they want to be able to get them, and it's Mamba Week.
Right.
But let's be honest, at the same time, let's not forget that this is still a business.
Right.
And while Nike's trying to be respectful of Kobe and his legacy, they also don't want to disrespect the man by having all his pairs stay on the shelf.
Right. And
At least that's what I think.
And let's also be honest. Why are these Kobe collectors wanting these shoes now?
Because he's gone.
So think about, in another world that he's actually around, what would have happened then?
Well,
You
wouldn't
know?
be. A lot of these shoes wouldn't be dropping necessarily.
You see?
So I mean, the tragedy brought out the reason for everybody wanting everything Kobe right now. I mean,
Right.
that's how it is when somebody passes along and has an influence. These things will happen.
Yeah.
I don't like the fans blaming the resellers.
Right.
Because that's a given, and I don't necessarily like them blaming Nike either for doing what they're doing. It's a sad place to be in, really.
Right.
The only thing I guess I could understand and kind of wish Nike would do
Mm-hmm.
is if you're gonna do this and you see the demand is there, be prepared to drop more later.
Right.
Like,
No, 100%.
Because you'll see them drop one shoe, and then a couple weeks later, a month, they'll drop another couple few. But and that's usually, I don't know, maybe people who they just have an inventory or shit that's left behind.
Right.
But to see the demand and that it's there, to be fair to everybody who wants them,
Yeah.
the resellers are gonna go after the shoe regardless.
See, and that's kind of the thing that it's almost like a pet peeve to me, right? Everybody kind of has their own thought process on
Right.
what they resell, how they resell, what they don't want to resell, what they do. And there's people that, like, for example, when the passing happened, right? I had a UPS friend that I met that he told me that his wife works at the outlet,
Right.
and literally that day, an hour after that happened, there was a guy at the outlets trying to find all the Kobe's.
Absolutely.
I would never have done that.
Well, that's
right?
the
I'm a
opportunistic
reseller, but that's
element.
not me.
That's the ugly
Right?
place.
But the
of it.
thing is, you can't be mad at him if that's how he's got to, he's got to help his family eat. He's got to pay the bills. That's how he's got to do it. Oh, well,
but,
you know?
I mean, that leaves a really bad taste in people's mouths.
No,
you know what I'm
100%,
saying? You're
but
profiting off somebody's death. That's lame.
Right, and 100%, it sucks, right? Because again, I would never do that. That's not me. I don't condone it. I'm not okay with that, right? I look at it as a bad way as well. But what can we do about it? Again, we can't make everybody happy. Nobody, you can't.
It was a lose-lose from the start.
Exactly,
Because
yep.
there's millions of fans that love Kobe. There are resellers that are. I mean, they're not going to go away.
Right.
Why would they?
And even some resellers are collectors, you know?
Right.
Like, I know I saw one tweet in particular that I was like, okay, this actually does make sense. And it was basically like, bring up more pairs, drop more pairs, and donate more to Kobe Foundation.
Right.
That way, it's a win-win.
Win-win.
There's more pairs, people get more, and you're also putting that money to a good cause.
Right.
Maybe not all of it, but a portion of it. That way, at least.
Continuing on to his legacy.
Exactly.
Right. And I appreciate that.
You know?
I mean, I think there's ways that could have gone about making the situation better, but at the end of the day, within 3 seconds, the shoe was gone.
Yeah.
And that's what it was gonna be always.
Regardless,
So you
yeah.
can't necessarily be mad or upset that you didn't win the raffle of this, that, and this, because let's be very, very honest here. It was always gonna happen.
Right.
You know, you would have to. It's silly to assume that everyone was gonna get this shoe. While I wish everybody that wanted it could, and I wish that the
Never
money would go to it, was never gonna happen. And you can't blame a business for it at the same time, because the worst look in the world would be for Kobe's shoes to be sitting on
the
the
shelves, yeah. And another thing too, like,
Not
let's
that
be
they would.
honest, maybe because again, stock was very low, like very, very low.
Yeah.
All from Mamba Week that they dropped, I think every day, Monday through Friday, that they dropped pairs.
Right.
They were only available on Nike, the sneakers app,
Which is impossible.
on Foot Locker and Champs. That's
Which is
it.
impossible.
That's it. No retailers, no nothing.
Right.
That was it. And one thing that you also have to notice is we are in this pandemic
Right.
where shoes can't be produced as much as fast
Absolutely.
as possible. So that also, I think personally, played a role into the stock numbers of these shoes.
I think you're right. And at the same, like, with the undefeated pack, the undefeated pack, right?
Yeah.
Like,
That shoe's beautiful, by the way.
It's a
That shoe's
great
beautiful.
pack. I wish I could have it, but you're not getting that thing for under
Like
$900
yeah,
right now.
800, 900 bucks.
800, 900 bucks. If it drops a little bit, maybe, but still, it's not gonna be like that one sucked because that.
And that was
but it
just
in-
undefeated. It was
but
just an
that's-
undefeated raffle.
That was,
That's it.
But that was meant to. That was gonna always happen.
Yeah.
It was always gonna happen. So it's like it'd be different if you were getting mad that you couldn't get a pair of Air Max 1s on sneakers app.
Right.
Okay, I understand that. But this shoe was big. Kobe just passed away. Everybody wants a piece of him right now. The jersey. I mean, should have Nike been expecting more? Yes.
Oh, 100%.
Should resellers have backed off? That's never gonna happen.
No.
And were the fans? Was every fan gonna get what they wanted? No. So I don't feel that you can't blame necessarily. You can get mad at it. You can hate on a different group for whatever their reasoning is, but this one was always doomed for failure.
Yeah, it's one of those things that the way I look at it is you can't do anything to change it. Why stay upset about it?
Right.
Like, what do you gain from it?
Right.
Nothing.
I mean, look at the disappointments there. I understand. I get it.
Right.
I get it.
But it's like, you and I are the same. We know, like, we take our L's with pride. Like,
Right.
oh, well, we didn't get it, on to the next shoe.
Right.
Or, hey, you know what? I want it that bad. I'm going to pay the ticket.
Right.
But there's these people that just constantly rant and stay mad and like you said, have that bad taste in their mouth for resellers, for Nike, and all that for what?
Yeah. No one was ever going to be satisfied for this shoe. Again, it wasn't an orange Air Max, it wasn't a green Air Max 90 or another 11. This was a shoe that had had big
Impact.
hype and impact for a lot of people for very different reasons, and it was never going to turn out in a positive light for everyone. I'm happy Nike was releasing stuff for Kobe. I hope they continue. Of all the pairs that dropped, those are all great. I'm glad I got the PJ pair. But to be
Right.
honest, the only shoe I'm looking forward to, and the only one that I really necessarily absolutely need to have in my collection, are the green shoes.
Yeah.
And that's the one that I can't wait for to happen.
Yeah.
So we'll have that conversation when that happens, because I will probably be mad.
Yeah.
But until then, I'll take my L with pride, as you said.
Yeah, that's how we do it, with the chest out.
Yeah. Let us know what you guys think. Was there ever a scenario that would have made everybody happy? I don't think so, but maybe we're wrong. Leave us a comment, let us know. Make sure you follow, subscribe, share that, because we need answers, and we need them now.